Hi, my name is Zachary Angelot, and I wanted to go over kind of what the tagging does and what it's about. Uh, Sort of forgot to do that. So, for the POS tagging, I think that is. Oh, I think part of speech, yeah. Um, in a certain sense, it's kind of simplifying nouns, verbs, adjectives. It's just making it with these two-letter things, as you can kind of tell with the rejects. Um, what kind of got me onto this was looking at other people's projects and then wanting to know more about it and just trying to create my own sort of. You can kind of get started with somewhat doing your own thing with, if you were to say, how would I use rejects to create POS tagging in Golang? And yeah, it sort of spits out, the beginnings of how that is. There's definitely a lot of iteration because it goes kind of in order, so to speak. Um, but you can do quite a bit with that, and this part of the code basically gets rid of punctuation, and this part for the stemming of the words basically gets rid of um, the endings of words like ing or ed or whatever, um, and basically just leaves the root of the word, and then it just runs it through the rejects in order to get those POS tags, uh, and then it just stores them with the tokens. The tokens is just the words themselves, and the reason why I kind of put that together, it actually made a lot more sense to put it into a struct, which is basically this one right here. And there is some stuff I do with padding or missing values just because it may not iterate through it and give a value to everything and still kind of make sense. There's the verb checking and the noun checking and everything, and some intentional tagging, I guess you could say. Um, yeah, I mean that's basically just to get these two-letter whatever and others. Um, the nerd tagging is basically the same thing, but it's a little more contextual, I guess you could say. You're basically doing it in order to get the context of whatever it is that you're tagging. Uh, Named entity recognition. Yeah. Basically just gives context to like the nouns or whatever. And I was doing that. Um, the phrase tagging, I will say, was a bit harder, and I don't claim to say that it's all that great. Um, because you're trying to mix what you got from the POS tagging and the NAIR tagging and having to do it in a certain order. And a lot of this with indexes kind of becomes a little crazy because you're trying to get a certain word with a certain tag, another word with a certain tag between POS tagging and NAIR tagging and everything, and having to try to do it in a certain order so that it creates a phrase, so that you're kind of generically trying to understand phrases of sentences and how they're put together and why, so that it can be, well, tagged together. And this is useful because if you want to, generate code or whatever, you can then have a structure or data and have it kind of automatically know through the sentence to create a phrase so that you can have it generate whatever that is. So that you can generate code based off of intention, I guess you could say. The next thing I was working on trying to add is dependency relation. This is a bit more trickier and it's not been implemented yet. But basically you're taking the tags and you're taking the order of things and then basically saying based specifically off this order it means this. So the phrasing sort of does that in a sense, but you notice it's not giving it a tag per se. It's just putting the data together as if it is a phrase and taking the most important parts of it. This will actually tag the phrase itself, I guess you could say, and which is even better, sorta. And it depends what you're trying to do. I think maybe for generating code and getting the commands, I might stop here, just because I'm not trying to create an LLM. I'm just trying to get enough intention in order to be able to understand a command to not have to ask more questions about the command once it's written. I guess is really what I'm trying to do. And hopefully that works out. So yeah, through here, this is the ner tagging. You get these types of tags. The POS is just, I guess you could say, a more simplified version of nouns and verbs and adjectives and everything. And then phrasing is just simply putting them together, kind of, because they are in a specific order. And then this will be kind of tagging these, I guess. So, yeah, I just wanted to go over what that really meant. One thing I didn't really go over too much was this Nix, which is kind of like a NPM but for backend. It's really nice because it sets everything up right away and lets you continuously run the server for live updating as well. I just think it's really nice and kind of generically makes commands run on the fly, or when you need to update something. It's well, usually in VS Code it works, but I don't know in this version. But yeah, you can do kind of all sorts of stuff with it, and I think that's pretty slick. I also been using the Chromebook, just because I just code in this IDX editor now, and I don't really have to worry about the system itself. I just completely forget about it. So yeah, that's sort of, and I've been using the Gemini with it quite a bit too, which helps dramatically a lot. Just because a lot of this stuff, I'm not gonna keep all this inside my head. Like, I'm just not mixing with different tags and different orders and what that means and its context and everything. I'm not. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over that and what it meant and why you should use it and why I use it and how I use it, and yeah. If you have any questions, please let me know. All right, thank you.